The Redeemer has risen.
Hey, what's up guys, Massive here, coming to do another video commentary, and today it's going to be a cast between OneVISION and Green Zero. This is going to be the finals of the October Command Post tournament that was held on Command Post VPN. Of course, it is on VPN because Green Zero can't play on Revora, as we all know. But yeah, I wasn't around to attend this one. And before I begin, I just want to say a big thank you to my Patreon donors. I very much appreciate the continued support, and your contributions are much appreciated. I cannot stress that enough. So yeah, with that said, this is going to be the first game of the best of 7 grand final, and it is a best of 7. This is one thing I like about this tournament in particular, is that the rounds are not ridiculously long. Like the last tournament I played in, it was best of 9 for the semi-final, and the best of 7 for round of 16, which is just crazy. It should be best of 3 or best of 5 at most for a round of 16 round. But yeah, let's get into this game, shall we? It's going to be on Tournament Galaxy, and shockingly, Green Zero is going to be over here as the green GDI. Who would have predicted this? Do I have any sound right now? Hopefully I do have, but yeah, over here on the right hand side we can see OneVISION. I'm just going to turn my sound up a little bit more here. I went into this with a rush. Hopefully it all turns out well. But he's going to be over here. He's going to be playing as a Nod faction. He's going to be marked with Kane, or sorry, rather within a Nod. I'm not sure if these guys pick their factions. I don't want to open the player status screen because usually that indicates the player who uploaded the games, and that will give away who won it, because usually the winner submits the games, unless it's Bike Rush. Unless it's Bike Rush and he lost, because Bike Rush doesn't actually save his replays. But yeah, enough about Bike Rush. Vision, he's going to score his engineer with 3 militants. Of course, not necessary versus I guess it is necessary versus Jedi, because they do have a faster scout, and you can go for power plant cell first and probably reach this building. Haven't tested it, but I knew that in early versions of this map, this spike was actually closer to the enemy base. Technique had to move it because shadow teams first would always reach this spike and kill the engineer, so that was a necessary change. But yeah, Green Zero is going to get a nice scout off, and versus Nod you need to get a scout because of all the rushing options that Nod have. Vision, he's going for bikes right now, and I'm going to make sure that I don't move my camera around crazily fast, which is what I've been doing in my video commentaries quite frequently. And this is a really weird rush. He's either going for the 3 bikes to anti-scout the Pibble, then go for the operations center for the flame tank. But it's not going to matter because he's not anti-scouting these rifle squads. The rifle squads are going to get into his base, and I think there's one up in the top of the map as well. No, he's actually cleaned up all of the scouts. There's 3 bikes coming. Green Zero, he knows about it though. He's going for Pibbles. It'll be interesting to see if he's going to actually overspend and make a lot of Pibbles. But he's going to make those Pibbles now. He's going for 2 Pibbles only, so this could actually bait in the flame tank. The flame tank may be unscouted. Does he have anything out of his war factory just yet? He's only on 1 harvester, so bear that in mind, Vision. He is sacrificing a lot for this rush, and he's here with 1 bike. He didn't even kill a single pitbull. Green Zero can probably hold this back with pitbulls if Green Vision is going for this flame tank. Yeah, he sells off the operation center, doesn't go for a reckoner, which is surprising. You would have thought he would have done that because the Black Hand squad is going to be great inside that Reckoner. Reckoners are extremely armored, extremely powerful. And yeah, Green Zero, he's just going to go in. He's going to scout. He sees the pitbulls. He sees the flame tank straight away, which is pretty huge. He's even going to probably spam more pitbulls after this. Vision is in a lot of trouble. He's going to get his eco up. And look at this. He did sell his MCV as well. So not a great start to this series for Vision. He had some sort of weird rush in mind, but I don't think he expected the execution to be this badly. And yeah, Vision's going to throw in the tower. It's going to be 1-0 for Green Zero. Vision, that unorthodox strategy at the start not paying off for him. And that's going to be a quick 1-0 for Green Zero, unfortunately for Vision. That's going to probably tilt him in the next games, though this is all going to come down to whether or not he can get back into the series in the next game. It is vital winning the first game, by the way, as that gives you a lot of momentum as the winner of that game to play good in the next games. So yeah, let's see if Vision can combat that and come back in the next game. So yeah, stay tuned. Alright guys, game number 2, which brings us on to Slippery Slope, and it is losers picks. So Vision did pick this map. He did have a game versus me on this map in my last video. because of course we played on this map. We had a very interesting game. I went for an ion cannon, and that ended up putting enough pressure onto Vision that he pushed into my army, and I ultimately got the engagement that I needed to win. The ion cannon was more a finishing fireworks display rather than actually game changing and in that particular game. But yeah, it was nice to have an ion cannon in a game. You don't see super weapons very often. On this map, I'd have to say that being cost effective is very, very vital, because look, there's only limited amount of time room on this map. There's 2 fields per player. But yeah, shockingly, and I mean this, Green Zero has went Nod. He has changed his faction. This is Green Zero, guys. He's Green Zero. Let me just confirm this. We're not getting mixed up here, are we? And for some reason the tooltip's not working, but I'm going to assume this is Green Zero. And down here on the bottom right, we have OneVISION playing as the Scrin faction. Remains to be seen if he is a Traveler 59, or actually we can tell if he's Traveler 59 or not by the assimilator. Has he got advanced articulators? No, he doesn't. Of course, this is a vanilla only tournament. I did just forget that. So yeah, it is going to be only Nod, GDI, and Scrin that are permitted to be played in this tournament. That was a major detail that I omitted, but yeah, it is good to know now. And he's going to be Nod. Green Zero, not particularly fond of facing Vision's Scrin on this map as GDI. He's going to be Nod. He does have some support powers at his disposal to drop Tiberium. Both of these factions do. And on the map where the resources are somewhat limited, well, I found that this is the case on this map. It's good to have those support powers. And maybe even Reaper would be a good choice on this map, because they do have those growth stimulators which do provide resources over time, as well as provide the benefits of a normal growth accelerator, which does allow your field to regrow over time. Though if you're doing that, you have to ensure that you leave your field to regrow, otherwise it's just the seedlings that will appear and you won't get the full Tiberium crystal value, which is bad. Anyway, Vision, he's up to no good here. He's up to some Devour attack shenanigans. And is Green Zero going to see this coming? In fact, he's going to get hard counter straight away. Green Zero, he gets his Reckoner shut down straight away. That is pretty devastating. Vision could not have hoped for a better start in this game. 2 dev tanks, 3 dev tanks coming out. May want to get a Corruptor for that healing. But yeah, he's going to get his Reckoner taken out there. And that didn't work out for Vision, I don't feel. Green Zero over here, he's on 4 and 2. May want to get more out. But yeah, despite that, Vision, he's got these units, but Green Zero, he has the economy. He may need to transition, though, into infantry. I feel that infantry is his best bet, though. Vision has kept his nerve center around, so if Vision is a quick transition for Green Zero, Vision could always just use the Buzzer Swarm and, you know, kill those militants. But he's a long way off from the upgrades for his militant squads. He's not Black Hand, he is Nod. He does have Cabesses on his militants, but they're not nearly as good as those Black Disciples. And he's got 4 dev tanks on his way now. Green Zero, he is in all sorts of trouble. He's going for infantry upgrades. He's trying to get them out. He may want to plant some Shredder turrets around here just so he has some for defense versus that swarm. If he can take out the swarm support power, then those dev tanks are going to be pretty useless. He sells his war factory here, which is a good idea. I just don't feel that he has enough militants, though, to fend this off. He's going to take one of his refineries out, which is really good, actually. This is going to put Green Zero and both Vision on even footing when it comes to refineries. Vision, I'd imagine, is going to get another ref down. He's actually continuing to spam out those Corruptors, so yeah, maybe banking some funds for these support powers that he needs. But yeah, Vision has the... I mean, Green Zero does have the... what do you call it? Upgrade online right now. I would have got the Confessors, me personally, because it does allow the militants to have that Cabal on them, which does shoot buzzers, which is really, really good. It allows the rocket squads to deal with that as well. But he's going to be pushed back. The dev tanks did really nothing there, and Vision, he isn't really recovering. He's on 3, 2 and 1. I could have sworn he had more than 2 harvests there, but Green Zero, he is on 4 and 2. He's going to get more of his eco up right now. He can keep this secret shrine around for a disruption tower, but instead opting to sell it. And Vision, I feel that he just wasted his forces there. Does he have any of his dev tanks around here? He still has 2 of them, plus these 4 Corruptors versus his infantry, but yeah, he needs to micro his heart out right now. And he's trying to get another refinery up. Green Zero. Vision, he needs to recover his economy right now. What's he doing? He's moving in with his drone ship, going for an all-in of some sorts. Can Green Zero anticipate this? He does have the upgrades for his infantry, though. And Vision has really not much anti-infantry to speak of. He does have some Corruptors granted. And Green Zero hoping to punish Vision's expansion is going to find that he's completely out of position here. This is going to be dreadful for Green Zero, especially if Vision uses the swarm here and thins out the infantry more. But yeah, Green Zero hoping to get a snipe on the drone ship, but not going to be pleased to see that he's getting overrun here. What is he doing? He needs to be moving in with the cabals. Sorry, rather with the corruptors. He needs to keep these corruptors alive. That's his only anti-infantry. He only has one remaining right now. 2. He can milk these portals. He's just not doing it. Can he do this? He's actually focusing on harvesters. He should rather instead be focusing on the tanks. Use these swarm support power as well. Corruptors. Trying to snipe these infantry forces. And Green Zero, he's over here getting caught by surprise and Vision. How the hell is he making this happen? Green Zero being forced to recall his army. He can shield these buzzer hives out by using his opponent's structures as well. You can always do that. Put some buzzer hives here near the war factory. The refinery does go down. That's all of Green Zero's economy, but mind you, he does have 2 spikes to rebuild that refinery. He's going to just snipe infantry out of these barracks here. He sells his MCV. Green Zero sells his MCV. He has no way to make money here. And oh my god, that was a missed micro as well. Fortunately, the corruptor was focusing on that, and yeah, he just doesn't have enough now to Green Zero. He's going to make infantry, but he's going to get overrun here by hives. This is an incredible game, guys. How is this happening? Green Zero, he had the forces to defend this off, but for some reason he decided to attack Vision's expansion. Vision with the moves, moving his drone ship to Green Zero's natural. I would have never expected that myself personally as well. It seems suicidal, but in this case it did work out for Vision. And Green Zero is going to throw in the tower right now, not working out for him. Of course, he did get his Reckoner sniped in the start by the Devourer tanks, which was very unfortunate. Vision must have anticipated a rush coming, because it is very strange for Green Zero to pick anything besides GDI, so it would have been obvious that Green Zero had something in mind in the early game, like a Reckoner rush or Flame Tank rush. But yeah, a very interesting game. That was very vital for OneVISION to win. And how do you really dissect that game? Vision was behind economically. Green Zero, though, the mistake that he made was he pulled his infantry army away from his base without scouting Vision. He didn't know that Vision was all in. He expected Vision to just eco behind that, but he couldn't because it put him so far behind. And you can see at this point here, if Vision had not went all in, he would have lost that game. He didn't use his Stasis Shield, though granted it wouldn't have done much. I mean, I guess he could have used it on his production, Green Zero's production, and slowed Green Zero down more, but it doesn't matter. He's going to take the game. It's going to be 1-1, and we're going to go on to the next game. So yeah, GG. Alright guys, game number 3, which brings us on to Tournament Dust Bowl. No poker edition. And of course, this is the only variant of this map that you see being played nowadays because of random mirrors. And random mirrors are really all there's seen in Kane's Draft, besides in tournaments where you have to pick your faction, this being one of them. And up here in the top, we can see OneVISION retaining his color, both of these guys retaining their colors, which is really good for my scoreboard, which I'm going to have. He's going to be Nod, and down in the bottom, we have GDI for Green Zero. Green Zero opting to go back to GDI. I guess he felt with that last game that his Nod is not up to scratch. Though I'd argue that he had a good chance of winning that game. He just made some micro mistakes in the end, and it wasn't really due to his lack of knowledge with the faction. I felt that he played and made the right decisions versus DevCore. Going infantry as all the factions is a good idea. Maybe not Scrin, but definitely with Traveler 59, because they do have Cultists, which is really your only way of stopping that. GDI, they have infantry plus watchtowers. It's very vital to place the watchtowers down if you're up against DevCore, just so you can defend that initial swarm ability, which of course can do damage if you don't have something to stop it. But yeah, Vision, he's going to be up here keeping a Shredder turret around. He could probably just power this down if he intends to keep it around, because then it won't consume the power. And yeah, he's going to sell that off right now. It's not cost effective to sell your Shredder turrets, and I did have someone comment on my videos asking me why I sold Shredder turrets as Nod, because you know, as you know, selling Shredder turrets as Nod gets you a militant squad, which is obviously cost ineffective because the militant would cost $300 by selling that Shredder. And the reason obviously is, well, it's not so obvious, but if you sell a Shredder turret as Nod, it's because you want to take this building here, or a building on a map which is contested, versus a faction with a faster scout. So you have to sell your Shredder turret to get into those buildings, because your Hand of Nod is usually placed far away from there. But yeah, Vision with a buggy scout, he's going to see that Green Zero is not doing anything. Green Zero does have a tendency sometimes to go for the Orca rushes versus Nod. So yeah, Vision's going to play safe now this time. He's actually playing not safe. He's going for bikes. He's went 2 bikes, but he's not actually attacking Green Zero. But Green Zero did overspend quite a bit. Look at this. He went for 3 pit bulls. But Vision, he's only on 2 and 1. He's on 3 and 1 right now. But Vision, or rather Green Zero, does have that extra refinery up. So he's ahead, looking pretty good right now. 4 and 2. Vision, he's just going to get underway with an expansion. Vision, Green Zero is going to look to put some pressure on. He can see, I'm guessing he can see those bikes in Green Vision's base. So he's going to go up here and put some pressure onto Vision, and he's actually managed to build a few rocket squads. Not sure if he kept his hand of Nod around, but yeah, it looks like he did. Wow. Completely unnecessary though, spending this much on rocket squads, because Green Zero is just going to eco ahead. He's on 5 and 2. And Vision has yet to place down another refinery. He's just not committing. He's committing so much on this one refinery. He's not doing anything though with it. He went for bikes. Maybe he's trying to fool Green Zero into thinking that he's all in, so he overreacts and goes for a double war factory. But no, Green Zero's not falling for that. Instead, he's going to go for a 3rd refinery. He's just going to eco further and further ahead. It's becoming... We're getting to a stage here where I think it's irrecoverable for OneVISION to match Green Zero now in terms of economy, because Green Zero, he's on 3 and 7, or I'm assuming he's on 3 and 7 now, which is pretty sick. He's going to come across these rocket squads. And yet, Green Zero, he's going to have to make some really colossal mistakes if he lets this one slide, I think, especially at this point where Vision, again, is behind on that economy front. But yeah, he's going to get another refinery down. So yeah, Green Zero is going to push his advantage. It's always good pushing your advantage. When you're ahead, get more ahead. That's a good thing. It took me ages to learn that. I have had games where I was ahead, but I kept up the aggression. Of course, I got defeated because I lost my army to my opponent, who did overspend. But yeah, there is a fine balance between overspending on defending and ecoing, and it's only something you acquire through experience. I can't tell you guys how many built bikes you should make versus your opponent, when you should eco. These things come by playing the game and through experience. That's why if I were ever to do a guide on this game, it would be very difficult. I mean, I could do a guide where it's like buzzers are good versus infantry, seekers are good at stealth detection. That's like what Unleashed made in 2008. And no, that's not what I want to do. I want to do a proper guide. Alright, a proper guide. And yeah, with all that said, Green Zero here with a few pit bulls. He's going to come across OneVISION, who has actually speedily got his economy back up as well. And did Green Zero come in from multiple flanks? I'm not sure he did. But yeah, Green Zero, he does have way more production, way more eco. But Vision did get his eco up right now. He's on 4 and 2 on his expansion, 3 and 1 on his first field. And he's going for a mass hammerhead. Hammerhead pits is a very lethal combination. Vision has 2 ways to stop this. One is he goes for laser scorps and laser venoms. He's a long way off from tech. That, or he goes for bike buggy, which is going to be pretty suicidal versus all these pit bulls. He's not in a position to really contest Green Zero when it comes to light harassment vehicles, but that's all Green Zero, or rather Vision, has. He can go Scorpion tanks because of those hammerheads. He's going to get torn to shreds by them, and I don't think Vision has scouted this just yet. He's going to get his Harvester sniped right now. He's got not enough forces here to defend this off. Harvester will go down. Green Zero is going to take a poke in. He's going to take that out, and Vision's just holding on right now. I don't think he really can bring this back. I mean, you never know. He may have a flame tank wandering around the side. It's going to take more than one, though. If he can destroy Green Zero's expansion, then maybe he has a shot. He's a long way off again from that tier 3 for the 1-clicks. Green Zero didn't spread his refineries out. In fact, he did spread them out. Pretty good spread there for Green Zero. And yeah, Vision right now, I think he may be a bit nervous, potentially. Though Vision hasn't been practicing or playing much. He could have been trying out, he could have been thinking of some really weird gimmicky builds for this tournament, and that's usually a good idea for tournaments, to not really play normal but to bring something that's rather unorthodox and something that can throw your opponent off. Because if you play standard, of course your opponent's just going to match that, and whoever is better at playing standard will win. That's why when I confront Bike Rush in a tournament, I don't just play standard, because if I do, I'll just lose, because I'm just a worse player than he is when it comes to standard games. I usually think up front of what I'm going to do I say things to myself like, okay, Bike Rush is going to do X, Y, Z. What am I going to do to defeat that? And usually after a while I come up with a solution, and it may not sound good on paper, but in that particular meta it is good. I can think of an example right now being fast shard launchers on one field. Of course, if your opponent doesn't go for a rush, an all-in on one base, that's just worthless. But if your opponent, on the other hand, does go for all-in on one field, then it's pretty good actually. Shard launchers with photon cannons, pretty sick. You can hold your expansion, no problem at all. Thought that was a flame tank, but no, it's going to be 2 buggies, scouting, expensive scout though, $1,000. Don't want to throw units away. OneVISION can't really afford to. He's going infantry, but Vision's going to be really loving that. And there's the flame tank. Didn't go for the value structures that I would have thought he would have, which was the refinery, though I guess there was flame tanks there. It was the most he could have really hoped for. Green Zero has an expansion up right now. Vision, he's just holding on. He has Tib Core though on his bikes, which is actually came really quickly. He's going to move in though with those bikes. He's got a number of them. They may be some of them decoys. Oh my god, Vision, Green Zero is not paying attention. He's going to lose all of his hammerheads. He could have decoyed those up, but admittedly decoys. Man, what the hell just happened there? Green Zero just lost his entire hammerhead force. That was pretty disastrous for him. He has nothing now versus the infantry. And all of a sudden, this game has completely turned around. Has Vision actually opted to go for an expansion? No, he has not. He's going potentially for avatars. He could go for the one-clicks, force the enemy army onto the field, and get even more cost-effectiveness from this army. And I can't believe Green Zero... What was he focusing on? How the hell did he lose his army on... How the hell did he lose his hammerheads to those bikes, man? I've never seen that before. And as I said, he's got no anti-infantry now. He can go in with a crush, but it's all going to come down to Vision's ability to, you know, spread his infantry out, and it'll just be suicidal. He doesn't have enough there to roll over Vision. He's going avatars now. Green Zero, he's just got his tech center down. He's got a refinery on his expansion, but trading this cost ineffectively is going to be really bad for Green Zero. What the hell has this game come into? I'm not sure. I was not expecting this. But yeah... Vision, he's just tearing Green Zero to shreds now. I'm not sure how this is. Snipers coming out. There's not really enough infantry though to really warrant the snipers. Railguns could be on the way. In fact, no, Green Zero has forgotten about that. Vision going to get underway with another expansion. He has managed to make his 2 fields last and do pretty decently. Vision's going to pursue into this. In fact, I don't think you can... Oh, wow, this is definitely suicidal for Green Zero. There's too many avatars here. Avatar's extremely armored. He's got no railguns. Nor do I think he has that on the way. As I said, he's actually got all of his houses queuing at one refining, which is pretty disastrous for him. 3 avatars on the field for Vision. Vision turning this game around. Green Zero has been defeated in a shocking game. How the hell do you explain that one? Green Zero was winning throughout the entire game, and then he just lost the game. He just lost the game the moment he lost those hammerheads. Look at that resource graph. Have you seen any discrepancy like that before in a tournament? OneVISION, he just holds on and hopes that Green Zero makes the catastrophic failure that he did, and it happened. Green Zero lost all those hammerheads in a moment's notice, and that's going to put Vision up 2-1 in this series in what I would have written off in the first 2 minutes as a win for Green Zero. And that happened. So, yeah, GG. Alright, guys, leave back to do the next game. It's going to be 2-1 in favor of OneVISION. Could you believe it? No, you couldn't have. And I was actually thinking of doing top 10s, like top 10, for example, highlights of all my first-person videos that I've ever made, or maybe even top 10 most useless units ever in the game. And if I were to make a top 10 biggest fails video of all time video, then that last game would have been easily on it. Anyways, up in the top here, we can see OneVISION staying with the Nod faction. He's going to be Nod. Green Zero with the GDI once again. And he told me, look, Leaf, I don't throw games. I just don't throw games. He told me via Discord, I do not throw any games. And how do you describe that last game then, Green Zero? How do you do it? I may even make that the thumbnail of this video, what he said to me. Because I certainly have not seen anything like that before. But yeah, we're on Tournament LA, and it is a blend between Red Alert 3 and C&C3. Burger Kong, as you can see. Technique imported a lot of models from Red Alert 3 and C&C4 for maps in Kane's Wrath, and it goes rather well actually. None of us really pay attention to that, and look, Green Zero, I think he's a bit tilted now. He's forgot his spike. Vision probably can't believe his luck. If he can win while he's behind, he's going to be feeling pretty confident versus Green Zero when he is in even footing now. And Green Zero, what's he doing? He's forgotten his spike once again. He's probably in his stream right now, just cursing and not getting over that last game what just happened. He's going to lose his scouts, and yeah, Green Zero once again forgetting his engineer. Again, this wasn't played late for him. These guys agreed a time that was convenient for both of them. Green Zero was in Australia, and this was played at 12 GMT, which was really reasonable for him. He's going to get his spike now. That's going to put him behind a little bit. Not the end of the world, though, for Green Zero. He's going to micro his harvester, though, which is rather nice. Vision, for the first time in this series, is going to go for an eco game. And Green Zero may be a bit paranoid about what's coming. I mean, I guess considering how disastrous the rushes were for Vision in the past, that he's not really too concerned about what Vision can throw at him in the early game. It's just in the late game, Green Zero needs to make sure that he micros and doesn't lose his entire army without looking. That's all Green Zero has to do. He can also go for railguns. Last game, if he had researched railguns the moment he got that tier 3, maybe he would have had a better chance of winning. But yeah, he was just too cost ineffective. Vision, he had really everything he needed to win that game. He didn't go for a Redeemer, he went for Avatars instead. Avatars really good if you can accompany them with infantry. And also if you equip them with beam cannons, which is something you rarely see nowadays, they are very, very powerful. Something I've been thinking of recently is equipping my Avatar with all of the upgrades and sending it around the side while I go for mass Scorpion tanks. Like, my opponent is fixated on the meta, which is Scorp Venom, and I send one Avatar around the flank to get heroic by destroying my opponent's expansion. And the Venoms, of course, would be able to pursue down all the Hammerheads that try and respond to it, which is, I guess, would kind of work, but probably wouldn't. But it's an idea nonetheless. And now that I've told everybody, everyone's probably just going to leave a Pitbull at home, because I have given away my secret strats, bro. Anyways, Pitbulls going to get destroyed here. Bikes trading quite effectively. Of course, when they're in groups of 4, you can one-shot those down. And Pitbulls do have directional armor, unlike the bikes, where the bikes just take the same damage if they're from the front or the rear. They will take the same damage. Green Zero, with that 2 war factories right now, he's going to go for Pitbulls. Not surprising, because Green Zero, that's his favorite unit of all time, the Pitbull. And he's going to just roam around the map. He did take a slice of that green or blue Tiberium, I think. He's going Predator tanks here, which is rather good. I told him, look, Green Zero, if you can go Pitbulls, just make 10 or so, and then transition to Predator tanks. 10 Pitbulls achieve the same as like 30 Pitbulls. It does reveal the map for you, and it keeps your opponent's fast attack force at bay as well. And the whole idea of scouting the map with these Pitbulls is so that you reveal the map, so you can get your heavier, slower units into position. That's the whole point of these. Because if you don't have eyes on the map, then you can't really respond quick enough to the bike buggy threat. Whereas if you had control of the map, you can see the bikes up here, and then if your Predator tanks are here, you can position them here, and they're going to be ready to defend the moment those bikes arrive. So it's really vital that you have a group of Pitbulls around. APC Engineer, which I told Vision about before this series began. Vision, Green Zero loves Engineer APCs, make sure you don't lose to it. And that's exactly what he ensured just then. And Vision, he is pretty content on going bike buggy spam. He is going for mass bike buggies right now. No decoys. And that pit stacking though, pretty sick. Vision's going to be loving this trade right now. Green Zero micro non-existent. He's just going to get overrun. What's he got to defend this off? He's going for Predator tanks. He can't believe his luck though right now. He's just lost his entire pit force. Bike buggies are roaming across the map. And could this be a 3-1 victory for Vision? Green Zero may have to pull this back. If he loses, he's losing his harvesters right now. He's not trading anything for these bikes. The Predator tanks are just going to get sniped. Vision does have a tier 2, as far as I know. He can use the decoy army, which will seriously confuse Green Zero into which targets he should be focusing on. But yeah, the bikes are going to town on these units. And Vision, is he really going to come through with a 3-1 victory here? He's going to come into this base. He's going to see the harvesters. And yeah, Green Zero, I expect him to throw the town now. He's got nothing really to hold this back. There's too many harvesters that can go down. Vision, he's pretty much left untouched. He does have one refinery on his expansion. So I don't think Green Zero was expecting this huge swell of units to come so soon out of Vision. But yeah, that is something that Vision used to do back in the day versus me. I remember just one refinery on the expansion. It doesn't make sense, but it does allow for a timing that only Vision does. And that was a pretty quick game. And yeah, Vision takes a 3-1 lead versus Green Zero. Green Zero, he's on match point now versus Vision. He has to win 3 games in a row. And he did. He should have won that second game. In fact, the first game as well, I felt that he had a good shot at winning. But yeah, Vision, man, he just came through even in the worst of times, and well-deserved a 3-1 victory there versus for Vision. It's going to be the next game. Hopefully Green Zero can bring it back, so this series is a lot closer than it is going right now. Alright guys, game number 5, which brings us on to Tiberium Rift, a map picked by Green Zero. And up here in the top left-hand side, we can see OneVISION playing as the Nod. Once again, it's going to be Blue Nod. Green Zero sticking to his faction, so the only time we did see him play anything besides GDI was on that Slippery Slope game. Is it Slippery Slope? Yeah, it was the ice map. Surprisingly, that was the game that he should have won as well, but unfortunately he didn't. And 1 second, guys. Do have a comment call right now, so do excuse the coughing and whatnot, but yeah, I am trying to get this series out for you to watch because it was requested, and I did promise I would do it. But yeah, Green Zero is going to do what he likes to call power drive strategy. Not sure why or where he got that term from, but he is going to send all 4 scouts down the middle. Want to watch the blue Tiberium crystal though, which will do more damage than the green one if you walk over it, which is non-surprising because blue Tiberium is far more intoxicating to your health, as it turns out. So make sure you don't go in that blue Tiberium. He's going to send scouts around, I guess, at this point. This is what I used to do as well. I used to consolidate all my buzzers in the middle, and then when I kill my opponent's units in the middle, I branch all the militants, or in my case, buzzers off to scout. But yeah. Vision's going to go for bikes once again. He is going for them bikes right now. He's got Buggy out to anti-scout any potential. He's actually doing quite a good job at anti-scouting Vision, but Green Zero is probably going to suspect that there's something coming because Vision has made quite an effort at stopping Green Zero getting into his base, so I guess that he has something in mind. He's going for bikes. My suspicions should be tingling right now if I am anti-scouted like this. I mean, there's obviously going to be something coming from Vision, especially because he hasn't even packed his MCV up. Green Zero, he's on 2 power plants, he's on 2 refineries, he's expanding. Vision right now, he is not expanding. So Green Zero must be thinking to himself, something's really strange going on right now. And he would be right to assume that. And he's actually going for 5 harvesters, so he didn't fall for it. There is bikes out in the field, but I think that Vision took the long way around. Vision is sending in the buggy. But he's going to be surprised to see that Green Zero didn't even make a single bike. I guess with the chain guns on these harvesters, he can hold off bikes, but my god, that is a lot of bikes. That is a lot of bikes. That's 7 bikes right there, and he's going to be able to easily kill a harvester if Green Zero doesn't rake any units right now. He's going. Hopefully he's not going for more harvesters. He's got 2 pit bulls, but he's driving away from the bikes. He cannot see these bikes. And he's going to go in for the harvester kill. At least 1 harvester can go down right now. The Green Zero is moving out, and he's not even focused. Oh my god, the stacking on those harvesters is pretty insane. He's going to kill 3 harvesters here, no problem whatsoever. And Green Zero, he's moving back. He's just, what's he doing right now? He's going to, oh my god, this is terrible right now. He's lost all of his harvesters. The bikes do come in for defense. He's still got bikes on the field. If he gets this 1 harvester more, he's in all sorts of trouble. But I don't think he can. Wow, he does save it in the nick of time. That could have been worse for Green Zero, but yeah, Vision does able to get himself back into this game. He did kill 3 harvesters, luckily for him, because those 2 pit bulls did drive back. He didn't scout. I guess he expected the rush to come sooner, but Vision was so late with the rush that Green Zero just assumed there was nothing coming. And that's something that Bike Rush used to do to me in the past as well. He used to stack flame tanks in his base, and when I thought, okay, the coast is clear, there's no rush coming, and what do you know, there's like 5 or 6 flame tanks coming to me. And yeah, of course I lose the game because I don't have enough time to remake units to respond to it. So those things do happen. There's a lot of mind games, especially in tournaments. That's where you see mind games most. And he's going to send this Pitbull back. Is it on low HP? No, it's not. Let me just turn these tail bars on right now. I should have really turned them on earlier to see the micro of either side, but Green Zero has a pretty good vision on the map right now. He's got bunkers everywhere. And vision, I think he's slightly ahead, so unless that was his second refinery on his expansion, which it was. Which is kind of weird because you'd imagine you'd put the second refinery on this field so you can saturate this field better. People coming in to scout, he can see, okay, this guy has just put his second refinery on his expansion. And Green Zero is no doubt going to be... Well, I was going to say something, but then he just placed his refinery awkwardly as well on his expansion, which could cost him. So either side, not the greatest refinery placements in the world, but Green Zero, all things considered, is in a better position. He does have more eco. He needs to scout the top and bottom. I wonder what could be distracting him at the top that makes him, you know, want to drive away from these bikes right now. He needs to be focusing a lot more. There's nothing coming in the top of the map. He's got a Pitbull here. Going to get taken out though. Scouting to see if Vision going for second war factory or even selling his MCV for that all-in, because we did see Vision attempt the all-in before, like on Galaxy, but that didn't work out for him. And that was the only game that Vision lost actually, when he did that all-in on that one field. But he has managed to pull this series back quite remarkably so. Green Zero is on the back foot. He's going to be up against bikes right now. He's going to see it coming though with these foxholes that he's smartly placed all over the map. Vision going to get eco up right now. It's going to be interesting to see if he's going to go for a, you know, a game like we saw on Dust Bowl where he techs up and goes for avatars and infantry. But that's going to rely on Green Zero not going for any hammerheads because, of course, infantry and avatars weak versus both. Pitbull's coming in though. And Green Zero is just going to go raid these harvesters. You could have probably suicided him for this harvester, especially because it is full of Tiberium. If you are going to go for harvester hunting, at least kill the ones that are full of Tiberium, because not only are you killing the harvester, but also the Tiberium that your opponent would have received in it, which does slow him down even more. So make sure you do that. And he's not focusing actually. He could have killed another harvester, but not to be. Vision does lose his harvesters. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 harvesters, but unfortunately that's not really enough. Green Zero has way more. He's actually transferred all of them to his expansion as well, going for a crane too. I saw someone in my first person video ask me, why do I go for a crane? When is the specific chance or opportunity to go for a crane? That is, this easy answer to that is when I'm expanding with 1 MCV. You either expand with 2 MCVs, so you can build a refinery while you're expanding with that second MCV, or a crane, which does the same thing, gives you that other build queue. Second MCV though is good though for 2 base defenses if you want to go minimal on the units and you want to defend versus your opponent's tier 1. Then going for advanced base defense spam is really good because they're really cost effective versus tier 1 units. That's when you see double MCV. If not, if you're going for unit spam and you want to expand, just go for a crane. It's actually pretty good. And Panic used to do that as well. I just feel that it's a really good structure to build when you're expanding. Alternatively, you could go for a surveyor, but those are really slow and weak. And in fact, die 2 Orca strikes when you're versus GDI. But yeah, Green Zero is going to come in here with his Pitbull army. He's going to snipe a power plant. I'd imagine he would go for a tier 3 and mortars. He is a guy who has a tendency of doing that. Is there anything in the bottom of the map? No, nothing to flank Vision in the bottom. But he did inflict a lot of damage earlier, so I guess he just wants to consolidate his force and, you know, just drive Vision around. I guess Vision expects to be attacked from multiple sides. Green Zero has done that before. But both of these guys aren't particularly active at the game. Vision, understandably so. Green Zero as well. You only see him stream and play when he is playing in tournaments. And of course he does cast them as well. We don't see many videos from him though. And remains to be seen if we'll see a video of this on YouTube, on his YouTube channel, if he wins or loses this series. He does stream, so you can find him on Twitch. He's going to be spamming out those APCs. He's got ample anti-infantry now. Vision doesn't have any upgrades on his infantry, so that's unfortunate for him. No expansion for Vision. But Green Zero does actually have quite a bit here. He has no macro. He has all this eco, but no production. He only has 2 ore factories, which is probably going to make him tank or bank a lot of money. As you can see, all his refineries, GDI and NOD refineries do visually allow you to see how much money your opponent is floating. And you can float money in the early game if you don't want to spam tier 1, just so you can get those heavier tier 3 units out, which are more effective and will make your field pay off much better. But yeah, APCs not particularly powerful, though it will deny Vision the build radius here because he only has that 1 refinery there. Can't place buildings around war factories. You could though in Tiberian Wars, but they got rid of that in Kane's Wrath. And really, both sides are trying to inflict pain on one another. One harvester did go down for Green 0. He's going to move down here with those APCs. And Vision is on tier 3 right now. Likewise for Green 0. He's got his Marv out as well. Probably could go in with his Marv and the lower pibbles. It'll be interesting to see if he decides that I need to go for Juggernauts. But considering how Vision has no real... He doesn't have 2 MCVs or a Redeemer. You don't really need to go for Juggernauts. Juggernauts are only good in those spots where you are versus tier 3 units in particular. Green 0 may want to just retreat here. He's sticking around there a bit too long. I think Vision may want to go for a 1-click plant, but get all these pitballs in the Tiberian field. That's all he can hope for at the moment. Marv is slowly going to move its way down here. He's got a Surveyor, so maybe he may want to just not Marvis that field and take it all for his own. But yeah, Green 0 has all the Tiberium in the world right now. He has all these pitballs, going to get mortar upgrades, no doubt. He's not even researching it. I guess there is a small downside to going for mortars, is that you can take friendly fire with the mortars, but generally it is a good upgrade. And another comment that I received on my YouTube channel is, why do the pitballs have the Firehawks icons here? And that's because we have since gave the pitballs the option to have the long range mortar, which allows the pitbull to shoot further than the range of the missile, because logically mortars are artillery units, like mortars are artillery. Or you could have it be the same range as the pitbull itself, so that you don't have to micro your pitbull as much. I think that was the whole idea at the time, is that the pitballs should have the same range with both its mortar and missile. But yeah, most of us just don't even enable the long range mortar. It does have its uses though versus disintegrators and things like that, infantry in particular, because you don't have to approach the infantry so close before you can use the mortars on them. So yeah, in some use cases it is better to actually just leave the long range mortar on. And yeah, EMP buggies would have to be a thing here if he wants to stop this, but he just doesn't have enough to do anything here. The Marv's just going to chew those up for breakfast. And Vision's just going to throw in the tower right now, despite all these Scorpion tanks. Is providing Green 0 focuses down the Raider Bucky, then he can shoot this down. What's he doing though? Green 0 right now, what's he doing? He's going to lose his Juggernauts to these Scorpion tanks, and if there's another Obelisk on the way, then perhaps this could be bad news for Green 0, but it doesn't really matter because there are no more Raider Buggies to follow up. But yeah, that would have been much worse for Green 0. I'm not sure what he's focusing on. He does have double ref on his expansion. Probably could go for multiple airfield hammerheads and, you know, spam those out right now. Pitballs on the top, causing havoc, denying Vision at that field to harvest. That was a pretty case closed shut game, but Green 0 does take that game. Pretty sizable advantage early on, despite that rush that Vision did, killing all those harvesters. If he had got that last harvester, then maybe would have been enough for it to swing the other direction. Vision having way more eco than Green 0, but that's just how it is. Early game aggression does, you know, go in favor of one guy drastically or the other guy drastically, depending on the outcome. And that's exactly what happened there. Vision probably should have just gone for an all-in rather than ecoed normally behind it. He also put his second refinery on his expansion when he should have actually put that next to his first refinery, so he could have been saturating that field at the top. He would have got more eco, but yeah, it's up to him in the end if he wanted to do that. I think he may have just panicked and placed his refinery there, and it was a mistake. That does happen, but yeah, that's GG. It's going to be 3-2, still in favor of Vision, so this series is far from over. In fact, it is going to be over if Vision takes another game, but Vision, he has 2 games to lose while Green 0 has 2 games to win, so yeah, GG. Alright guys, Massive here coming back to you game number 6. And it's going to be 3-2 in favor of OneVISION. Can Green Zero make this to the ace match, or will OneVISION take this game and the series and the tournament? Well, we're going to be on Extraction Plateau here, which is a very C&C4 oriented map with all these tubes. Because EA tried to explain that Tiberium suddenly just vanished out of nowhere. Wasn't a particular huge fan of C&C4. I really did think that the eco mechanics in Tiberium Wars and Kane's Wrath were the best. Really loved Tiberium. That's why I love the Tiberium universe, and they just got rid of that and had these weird crystal things like floating over units' heads in a non-RTS game. I guess there would be people that would argue that it was an RTS game, but I'd probably categorize it as a real-time tactics game, more like Dawn of War 2, but that game was actually better than C&C4 at that. Really liked Dawn of War, by the way. It was one of the only other games I loved to play when I was like a kid. But yeah, over here, Green Zero going to be playing as Green Jedi once again. I guess he feels quite confident retaining Jedi after that win. Though it did require him to take 2 expansions for him to comfortably seal that game. So not too great for him. He's going to place his War Factory facing the opponent, which could indicate he's going for some sort of rush. Although he could just want this Pipple out sooner, though it will extend the amount of time it takes for his Harvester to go to his Tiberium field. But these little decisions only account to a lot when your opponent is not making flaws either. So if your opponent has efficiencies in their own build order, then of course that won't really matter much. Anyway, both sides going to just eco. I guess Vision wants to play it safe because he is ahead. He doesn't want to get into that position where it's an ace match, because then the pressure would be certainly on. And I myself am all too familiar with ace matches. I played a Bike Rush in Kane's Wrath World Championship in an ace match. Though to be honest, the stakes were a little bit higher there. And it was also on a map that I never played before either. I had to actually scroll the map frantically when I was playing that game. And that was pretty crazy. But yeah, is this going to be a win for the Pipple or the win for the Raider Buggy? Raider Buggies are just super tanky. He's going to win that. So Vision takes an early win here, which is going to be not too great for Green Zero. He's going to probably have to invest in another scout because Vision is unpredictable. He has been certainly unpredictable this series. So there you go. No surprises there. Green Zero could go for another Pitbull. From all the shenanigans we've seen Vision do in this series, you have to keep him scouted. That is how Green Zero should proceed with this series. And Vision's just going to eco. He's going to do this eco build, which he did in the second last game. He did take that game. And yeah, of course, it's no surprise to see Vision with his refinery come up a little sooner, because his power plants only take 5 seconds to build. And yeah, second War Factory potentially for Vision, or maybe even a Hand of Nod. Let's see what Green Zero decides to do. There is no contested blue field in this map, so having map control is not nearly as rewarding as on Tournament Rift, where you have spikes at your disposal and also blue Tiberium. So if you are aggressive early on, you can take the spikes, you can take the blue Tiberium, and then suddenly when it comes to your opponent having 10% of their Tiberium field left and you with 30% of your Tiberium field left, yet same resources economically because you took that middle field, then suddenly you're going to get more for your Tiberium fields and you're going to have more units in the end. And that does work out when you're doing a 2-base all-in on your opponent and they take a third field. It just works out really well. But yeah, you really need a long-term game plan if you're going for a blue Tiberium and spikes. But generally going for the spikes is really good because it's eco that's infinite, whereas Tiberium fields are not, because most players don't allow them to regrow. They leave one harvester to harvest the seedlings on them, which is not a good idea in my opinion. It's best to just leave your harvesters idle and let that field regrow, especially when you're a screener, because you do have those growth accelerators, which I did mention in the first game. But yeah, Vision's going to come in here with a scout. He's going to see the second War Factory. Green Zero spamming out those Predator tanks, which is a really good idea. On this map, especially, you can't really go Pitbulls versus Gorps either. I mean, you can go air, but he sees the flame tank coming as well. He just needs to assign one flame tank, Predator tank to deal with that. Yeah, he sees it straight away. He's going to assign just one, as I mentioned before. And here we go, Pitbull's encountering some bikes. They can get taken out, but he's well out of position here. He's not actually noticing that the Scorpion tank army is actually going to harass Green Zero's main. He's focused mostly on killing this Harvester here, which admittedly is full, it will do damage. But look at this, Green Zero's going to lose his entire army. He can use the Orca Strike, which is a smart placement of the airfield, by the way, because it does, the placement of the airfield does influence where the Orca Strike lands. So as you can see, he did do a good job there. That was actually pretty sick because he did manage to scare these back. None of those Scorps can go down. They're on heavy health though. If he has a group of Pitbulls somewhere, then maybe he could make those work. But yeah, Flame Tank, it looks like it got cleared out. Green Zero saw that earlier with the Foxhole that he had there. And One Click Plant is around as well, so maybe... Oh, he's got a Harvester here. I'm assuming this is a decoy. That's one good thing you can do about with Nod. Is decoy your Harvesters if you want to see your opponent's field, because they are stealthed. The decoy does take on the attributes of units. Doesn't take on the attributes of stealth detection though. If you want to decoy a Pip-Boy, it won't actually detect stealth for you, which is unfortunate. I had the idea recently of putting sensor pods and vertigo disruption pods on something in a weird experiment, guys. You would have never ever imagined it. Or it could be you put a sensor pod on a stealth tank, then it becomes a stealth detecting stealth tank. Potential new meta in 2v2s. But yeah, Avatar's on the field here, as well as an Obelisk. He's going to hold this back quite easily. Actually, no, the Obelisk does get focused down rather quickly. The tech center is exposed, is fenced, which means it does double its armor, and of course that would have been almost dead right now if he had not got that. The tech center will live. If he goes in the Tyrant field, then obviously he will get one click because the one click plant is still around. I think only one field on his expansion, one refinery rather. AA turret there. He could probably just stealth his avatars if he wants to go in for a crush. He could stealth this one. I don't think Green Zero would have noticed of all the stuff that's going on. He could just move this avatar in and crush his opponent's army. Something you don't see often. Unleashed used to make that work. But yeah, Vision, I think Green Zero did overstay his welcome here. He lost fair to many of his tanks. And Vision, he has half a field at his disposal. Whereas Green Zero has expended his army and also has no Tyrant on his expansion. So if Green Zero continues to be this cost ineffective once again, then it's going to be bad for him. The avatars are very good versus tier 1. The Green Zero is going to rely on these Orcas. He's got 12 of them actually, or going to get 12. So he's going to be able to one-shot that MCV if he wants to. You should probably also get the hardpoint sight as well. Vision's going to spot this. He has a stealth tank there. And I think that was sensor pods in line as well. I guess he expects the stealth tanks to be a thing. He's going for Pitbulls. He's trying to get his eco up on this field. He's doing quite well, Green Zero, right now. He's looking to be in a better position than Vision. Does Vision have Tip Core? No, he doesn't, which is going to be very bad for him because he needs to upgrade like online immediately. Tier 3 does go down. Doesn't have laser capacitors either, so you can't use Venoms with lasers, which is really your only other option. He's not doing the best of jobs at focusing down these Harvesters, but it's good enough. He's going to lose all of his Harvesters. He does fly through all of that AA, but yeah, he's just going to lose all of his Orcas, and I don't think Vision has enough to penetrate Green Zero's expansion. Stealth tank unupgraded with Tip Core, not going to be that great. Does get all of his Orcas stacked up though. I mean, if he does focus down these Predator tanks, then maybe he has a shot. But it's going to be a tough ask. He's not actually focusing though. He's taking out the Harvesters when his real priority should be the army, because he really has no eco to behind this. And if he doesn't take out Green Zero's army, then he's just going to lose because he has nothing to replace it with. He has no eco. He's got 2 Harvesters, 1 refinery, 2 refineries. But yeah, he's just going to throw in the towel, I think, now. I think his MCV, did it even bother to expand? Yeah, no, it didn't. Green Zero, he's going to comfortably hold that with an army intact. He can even take these husks over. And with that said, Vision does throw in the towel. So it's going to be an ace match now between OneVISION and Green Zero. And Green Zero has got himself back into this series. It's going to be an ace match. I would have never seen this coming originally. But yeah, it's going to be down to the wire here. Green Zero versus OneVISION, putting up a show for us all. And despite the gameplay not being the best of all, it has been quite entertaining thus far, and I have enjoyed watching this series. So yeah, we can go to the next game here. And who do you think is going to win? It's going to be Green Zero or OneVISION? I didn't really see the result of this before I went into casting these games. I didn't even check Discord. I got a lot of private messages from the winners and potentially the losers as well. I have no idea who's going to win, but if I were to guess who was going to win this game and series, I'd have to pick Green Zero. I just feel that OneVISION maybe tilted too much, and he's lost 2 in a row, though Green Zero did as well, and managed to turn it around. But yeah, if I were to guess who's going to win this, it's going to be Green Zero. Yeah, let's go to the next game. Alright guys, Massive here, come back to do the grand final game of this best of 7, and it has become a ace match. The guys have made it all the way to 3-3, and it's going to be on the weirdest map you can ever imagine. I'm not sure if this was a mistake or what, but it doesn't look like it because it was sent to me, and it's going to be Asteroid Battleground or something like that. I'm not sure what the name is, but it is a map made by Predator. Anyways, it's just a really weird space map, and I am absolutely bewildered why anyone would pick this map in a 1v1 tournament, but it is going to be the ace match game. OneVISION over here as the blue Scrin. I'm surprised he didn't stick with Scrin after that slippery slope game, but over here on the right hand side we can see Green Zero again playing as GDI on this map. Orcas would be very good because look at all these choke points, man. Equally, Storm Riders would be good as well. It is a bit like Slippery Slope in that there is only 2 Tiberium fields. There is a blue field up on the top here which does regrow over time, I'm assuming. Actually 2 fields, though. It is symmetrical and it is super vibrant, I have to say, this map. Loads of colors going on. Very distracting, I'd say, as well in a game. You'd have to play this map on low LED if you want to take it seriously. But nevertheless, it is a very pretty map to look at. Defensive tower in the middle. I'm guessing that will provide you with a lot of vision. Even an M spike as well in the middle, so that's a potential asset for either one of these guys. GDI could make great use of that versus Scrin, dealing with their hexapod and whatnot. Buzzer gonna infiltrate the base. He's gonna see that nothing's coming. No Orca alling, which is very possible. And Vision's just going to eco here. Storm Riders, I'm guessing, is the name of the game on this map. If you can hide 2 gravity stabilizers potentially here, and then harass your opponent's expansion, that's going to be pretty sick. Because look at these choke points. It's going to be, if you are going to respond with pitbulls, they're just going to be funneling on these choke points down to your opponent's expansion, and that's just going to be really bad for them. But yeah, Green Zero's going to get underway with that expansion right now. He's going to pop down another power plant for good measure. Both side does have a spike at their disposal, as you can see. This map is completely and utterly symmetrical, and I'm guessing that these dots are stars, or I don't know, different galaxies or something. I've never really seen stars that are different colors. I've just seen them like white, but I guess it's good for like cosmetic reasons and whatnot. But it's going to be 4-2 for OneVISION. 5-2 for Green Zero, so he's a little bit ahead. He's also ahead on his expansion. Vision also opted to expand with 1 power plant. I personally prefer to do it on 2 with Scrin because their drone ship does take forever to deploy and undeploy compared to the other factions where it is instant. With a drone ship, there is an animation before you deploy it and then you can build, but with Scrin and GDI and Nod, you can build immediately the moment you press this button here. So I just go for 2 power plants straight away and expand. And also, I don't understand why you want to expand at 1 power plant, because you have to build a power plant anyways when you place your drone ship down. It doesn't make you any faster at building. In fact, all it does, it just stores your raw factory, because you have to power down your refinery to make sure that you're not low on power. So it just doesn't make sense to me. Can anyone please make sense of that to me? Going for power plant first as, 1 power plant expand as GDI and Scrin, because I certainly can. I just don't think it's worth it at all. With Nod, I can see the reason, because you need power plants. You need 3 of them, and that's a lot of power plants. That is 15 seconds, but still, nevertheless, you need to make them, because if you don't power and you build your 3rd refinery, you're building it at a much slower pace compared to with just your 3 power plants, so it just makes no sense to me. Tier 2 coming down for OneVISION, I wonder if he has what I have in mind, which is Storm Riders. It would be very good going for storms on this map, because look at all these chokes, man. And Green Zero is almost certainly going to go for Firehawks. He's going to go for air. I mean, he knows immediately, look, this map is an aircraft map. Vision needs to go for air. He just needs to go for air. Simple as that. APC Engineer does get sniped, unfortunately, for Vision. That's really unfortunately for Green Zero. And is that a wreckage of some kind? Looks like a V-35. Wow. A lot of attention to detail on the Predators maps. Sorry. Descents all over the place. I'm guessing he left those there for anticipating additional APC engineers, which is a really good idea. Gunwalker coming in for a scout. He's not going to see the airfield. He can place his Buzzer Swarm here, though, if he desperately wants to see where his opponent is doing. Maybe worth it, actually. It is very vital to get intel early on. He's going to go for Firehawks, actually, so not actually Orcas, which is really a problem. But it looks like OneVISION has already sniffed this out. He's going to damage his tier 3, which allows him to get the repair cursor on his assimilator on that building, because if it's full health, obviously you can't go into there preemptively. He's going to take this out. He's going to see the Firehawks. Okay, so he sees this right away. He's going to go for that shards upgrade, which is going to be vital. You can also use the stasis on his tier 3, which is going to be very good, because if he does this on the tier 3, it won't cancel the upgrade. So it might be worth just stasising his tier 3. He's going to go for the 4 Firehawks. He must have rushed to get those out, but he hasn't even bombed his opponent yet. And he has limited time to make this work, because if Vision gets that shard upgrade online, he's going to be good to go. He's also going to get all this blue Tiberium as well, as you can see. Vision taking that. Green Zero unlikely to take it. He's trying to get in with the Firehawks. Is he going to be all come down to this Firehawk bombardment? Is he going to get this tier 3? I'm fixated on it. I cannot see anywhere on the map where he could be with those Firehawks. Here he is right now. Shards is done, though, which is terrible. And can he get it? Oh. He lost all of his Firehawks almost. I think that was worth it, because he did get the shards upgrade online in the end, which was definitely worth it for Vision. He has a tier 4 as well. Not sure if he has a commando already on the field for a wormhole, because I think he did mention to me that he would do a wormhole in this series. This tier 3 isn't so defended, so maybe he could take the tier 3, place down a AA turret. Oh my god, he got the warp chasm and the refinery and the harvester inside of it as well. If he places an air tower here, an AA defense, then yeah, he can definitely take out these Firehawks on the deck, most certainly. Has he got anything queued? He's not queuing an air tower, or sorry, an air defense tower. Now a tier 3 comes down, and that's just Green Zero's worst nightmare. Oh my god, he just used the Overlord's Wrath as well. That was not worth it, though. He's just going to give Green Zero all this Tiberium. He's just using his support powers. That was completely unnecessary. Vision, you are not winning this game just yet. You're just throwing away your units and money. That was definitely not worth it for you. And I feel that that was just Vision being a bit cocky. I mean, he's going to lose his Firehawks. I guess he did kill the Firehawk threat. But Green Zero can just rebuild that airfield and get the Firehawks out again, if that's what he wants to do. Or you could just go for a Marv. He could go for railguns. I imagine he's banking quite a lot of money, but this was a huge mistake. Just gifting all this Tiberium here, that could cost Vision. Also, this isn't just normal Tiberium, it's regrowing Tiberium. It's awful using this on your opponent, unless you've won the game at that moment. But on a Tiberium and resource limited map like this, using Overlord's Wrath on your opponent is just awful. You're just going to allow your opponent to get all that Tiberium. It's going to regrow as well. It's like having another Tiberium field. But yeah, Vision's just going to have to Hex Lane this through. He's going to make Shock Troopers probably to put in his Hexapod. Predator Tank's going to just investigate this here. He does have a Foxhole, but I'm not sure if he has AP ammo. Can't really tell. I'm guessing he did. I mean, it is an upgrade that you'd get anyways versus any faction. GDI do benefit greatly from it. And yeah, he just loses Predator Tank, so I guess that's pretty fine for him, actually. He kept his tier 4 around. He'll be looking to recycle that again. More Harvesters as well here. Buzzers here as well, looking to probably just use the Bombard. Sorry, the Wormhole once again. He's going to probably use the Bombard here, Green Zero. He's got all these Avatar Juggernauts. Wonder if he's got any snipers on the field. Based on the minimap on this game, I'm doubtful that I can probably see them. But the only reason you'd make juggernauts in that number is for the bombardment. I mean, if he gets a bombard on, for example, this here, he'd kill both the signal transmitter and the TF3 because they're just so close to one another. The splash damage would deal with both of them. I like what Vision's doing in this game with one refinery, because on a resource limited map, just building one refinery is going to be pretty good because you can get way more out of that. And here's some oh, this is going to be bad. Why is Vision just donating his tripods now? You may want to retreat that. No, he just donated 2 husks though. And I'm guessing he doesn't have any support powers to deal with this. In fact, he has hexapods here, which is pretty decent. Marv almost going to come out. He has no EMP though to deal with this, so his juggernauts are just going to die to this. He does have zone heads, which is obviously green 0 because only green 0 does that. And he's going to come in with his hexapod here. He's going to try and take out this reclamator hub, but I don't think it's going to work. He may want to just kill his, or teleport back to base, but maybe the snipers in the back causing mayhem, killing his commando potentially. I don't think he has a commando, unless he tried to wormhole again and failed and lost it, but I didn't catch it. Green 0 trying to keep OneVISION from taking those blue fields right now. Signal transmitter going to be found. He's going to take that out. Looks like Vision sold that storm column, unless of course he bombarded that and he lost it. But yeah, all these juggernauts, if he can make EMP grenadiers to accompany these jugs, then that would be better, because you could anticipate where the hexapod's going to land and then emp prematurely, which is how you deal with the teleporting hexapod or juggernauts. The hexapod always faces the direction which it teleports in. So if you see it teleporting into your juggernauts, you just get your EMP grenadier squad the moment you see it teleport here, and then you just prematurely empt the ground. And by the time he completes his teleport, he's going to be emped, and you won't have the opportunity to retreat. He won't have the chance to teleport back with his commando. And that's something that I've made work in the past, and it's certainly a way to deal with it. I thought that guy was a lone commando. Imagine how sneaky that would have been, but no, it's just going to be a single rifle squad. Going to get taken out though. Up in the top here, green 0 has a bunch of hammerheads. He's going for juggernauts too. Vision is going packs, so has a green 0 spot this. He did see the signal transmitter. He knows that's there, but I'm not sure if Vision can get enough of these out in time. He's going for them, trying to spam those out. Green 0 is going for another upgrade. One can assume this is going to be the tungsten. He's well aware of what's coming, but he's got no emp here. That's the problem, right? He's got no emp. He's just going to allow his juggernauts to get trampled on. He is trying to avoid that situation though by spreading his juggernauts out, which is actually rather smart. But there is packs on the field. Rift generator would be really good here. Fortunately, he's going to get taken out there. The sniper team, if that can get around here and again take that out, that's going to be pretty sick. And that's going to get taken out there. I'm not sure if this will also range him, but the hexapod is taking juggernaut fire on this bridge, I guess you could say. Snipers will make it around here. That's going to be pretty devastating if he gets both of these buildings once again. That's going to deny the phase on his hexapod. But yeah, he's not going to be able to deal with this. Oh my god, he's going to lose his hexapod if he doesn't teleport this back immediately. I guess he has enough juggernauts there to destroy that tier 3 with the bombard. Yeah, it looks like he's doing it now. If he's smart, he'd target between both of them. Yeah, that's pretty smart. He's going to deny more packs being produced. Slingshots, obviously very, very powerful. The moment these drones are destroyed on the packs, I just retreat them right now, Vision, because they're going to lose their combat effectiveness. If you were going to use that, I would have done it when you got all those slingshots in the same group. Okay, this is really bad for green 0 right now. He does have slingshots. I don't think he's got 2 in there. He's got these which are full of zone raiders, I assume. All of them are. Oh my god, this is gonna be really bad here. Oh, he doesn't emp the Marv. He doesn't emp it. That's really bad here. Vision may have to teleport in with his hexapod to trample all over these. And the Marv will go down. The packs are his only form of anti-air right now. And the Hexbot, because it does have double Shock Trooper inside of it. But he needs to deal with this Marv immediately. And the outcome of this tournament and this series is all going to come down to this fight here. Will OneVISION be able to take this out? I mean, he does have those slingshots, but yeah, they're going to get taken out. The packs are just going to be good enough barely to deal with that right now. And yeah, Green Zero gets cleaned up. He has packs, but they're getting chased down though by the Storm Riders. And I think that this is OneVISION's game to lose. He does have his Hexball still alive. He could just go in for the kill. I mean, it is definitely worth it. Vision would have had to rebuild the Warp Chasm, but he actually kept that around smartly. And yeah, Storm Rider is just going to fly around the place. He could go in, fly around here and use the wormhole once again, but this is just the bane of Green Zero going for Skren. And I mentioned to you guys, if he had went for Emp Grenades, that Hexball would have done as nearly much damage as it did there. He had the AA, but the Stasis Shield was just lethal, especially on that narrow choke where he got all of Green Zero's Juggernauts and the Marv as well. But yeah, he's going to lose those packs though. Wow, he decided to move back though, which is unfortunate. Those slingshots do rank up really, really quickly. Despite not killing the pack itself, units do gain experience for killing the drones. So that's why these slingshots rank up really quickly. I'm not surprised if he would have a few ranked up ones there, but no, he doesn't. Vision only has 4 packs. He's going to kill this though, which is going to be pretty sick. I don't think Green Zero has any Juggernauts though to speak of to use the bombard ability on. Hexbot full health. He's going to be pretty good up there. Slingshots tearing apart those right now. I'd reckon that Vision could push right now, unless he wants to chill, go for a super weapon and, you know, draw this out even longer. I mean, the game is certainly not over. This tip, though, that he awarded Green Zero is just going to gift him resources. As you can see, it is regrowing as fast as his own Tiberium field. He's going to take the blue Tiberium as well. He has free reign of the blue Tiberium. But I don't think he has enough harvesters to... I mean, I guess he does have. I mean, you could send some harvesters up here, some harvesters down here, and take all that blue Tiberium. It would definitely give him the boost that he needs. But Vision, he's going to wait for this Rift Gen to count down. And he's going to move in now with the packs and the Hexapod. He's going to bank on this Hexapod being his AA of choice. But he can easily throw this game if he just suicides this Hexapod here. He needs to be very careful. He may have just to wait until his cooldown is at 0 before he can engage, because that will almost certainly trap his hammerheads in the bubble, in the rift, which essentially just opens a black hole and, you know, sucks your opponent's army into it. And yeah, you wouldn't want to be in that, obviously. This Technology Assembler man could get some repairs. It is expensive repairing, so in that particular instance I would go for an engineer. Just repair that to full health. But he's going to retreat back to base. He's just going to recycle endlessly his Hexapod, and he's going to take a miracle for Green Zero at this point to win the game. I mean, he is here in a dire spot. He picked this map. Actually, did he pick this map? He lost the last game, which meant he did pick this map. I guess seeing that he wanted to trick OneVISION into thinking that he didn't know how to play this map. The commander comes in, sells it as well. I thought he would have got that mastermind sold. He only has a war factory now. So if he somehow kills that war factory, then he has a chance. I've been in this spot many a time versus Green Zero. And where's he going now with his Marv? He's over here with his Marv. No garrisons in it. He has only 1 zone trooper. He's got those slingshots around. That's his... But those are to counter the packs. He's still making packs. It's not the best use of income. I'd go for a second drone ship for pushing with AA turrets versus the hammerheads is the really only ways you're going to do it. Or even a couple of mecha pieces with disc segments would be good. That would be pretty good. Having disc and shard segment mecha piece to deal with the slingshots and the hammerheads. You just would need to approach the Marv somehow with something. But yeah, Green Zero has lost his Juggernaut count, and he's only on 1 Jug now. His hammerheads are trying to find a gap. Imagine he lost his commando. He may have sent a rifle squad through the portal or the wormhole and lost that. But yeah, he's not going to be able to hex lame his hexapod right now. Where is it right now? I'm not sure. He'd have the phase filled though, so that's not too bad for him. He's going to take out these harvesters. All these little wins are going to accumulate a lot for OneVISION, and it's turning into that sort of game now where Vision just needs to camp. He is Scrin. He has the superior Tiberium regeneration support powers at his disposal. He can sit here and just play the long game out. As you can see, he just used the Ichor Seed. He can even use the growth accelerators as well. And doing what I said earlier, which was put your harvesters on hold fire, which is very good. He's not going to harvest that Tiberium. He's going to let it grow, which is pretty sick. Green Zero, I can't say the same for him. In fact, his harvesters are actually bugging here. And his Green Zero going to allow himself to be bled dry in this game. Or is he going to make some decisive move? He's going to go in and kill these slingshots. Green Zero not microing this. If he loses this Hexapod though, he's in all sorts of trouble. He loses his Hexapod. That is a huge mistake actually. But his Marv is taking colossal damage by those packs. He has the slingshots, but he's really... that's all he has, man. Like, packs, they're good, but they just don't deal with slingshots really well. And the Marv is going to go down, so both are going to trade tit for tat in their epic units. And that's going to go down pretty quickly. And is he going to turn back here, or is he going to just push even further? I mean, I guess he could push, but he's losing all of his drones to these packs. He's losing all of his slingshots, though. That's all of his AA down. Green Zero has nothing. I mean, he can go for more, but those zone heads are so difficult to deal with as Scrin. And I'm surprised that he wanted to make a move there, because he did have a super weapon. He could have just chilled at home, waited for the ideal time. Green Zero doesn't have a super weapon. I guess he got a bit impatient and decided to move out. He's going to harvest, or rather harvest that tib that he allowed to regrow. Green Zero, he has plenty of Tiberium again. He's not noticed his harvest has been bugging this whole time. He would have been quite furious about that, but that has allowed his tib to regrow for him, which is pretty sick. He's got 4 slingshots here. Against all those packs, I do think it's a bit too much of an ask for Green Zero. He can just smash his MCV if he wants. Oh my god, that was pretty sick. He just stasised all those and the MCV, so he's not going to be able to place down any defensive structures here. And I think that may be the end of the game. He just needs to go for the war factory and just take out that slingshot, man. That's all he has there. He's going to take that out. If he uses the Ion Storms on top of the slingshots, he will be able to destroy those pretty swiftly, because the Ion Storms as well do inflict a lot of damage. And yeah, that's Green Zero's AA gone. He has no anti-air. The Stasis Shield completely shut Green Zero down, and as it turns out, he didn't even need that super weapon anyways. He has those zone heads, but as it turns out, with no anti-air, it doesn't really matter, because Green Zero, he's going to lose this game. He has no production. And after a thrilling, extremely long and tedious series, Green Zero has lost it and Vision takes it. So yeah, Vision, with that practice that we've had throughout the week, in fact we only practiced on one occasion and I posted those games online, but he had prepared some strategies. I think in the end though, he just won because he was a better player. Green Zero's micro in that Dust Bowl game was pretty disastrous. I'm trying to think of adjectives to properly describe what I've seen there, but I'm struggling to do so. But yeah guys, hope you enjoyed this series. Well done to OneVISION for taking this tournament, and Green Zero for coming second. I will try and participate them in these tournaments in the future. If not, I will cast them as I did here. Anyways, this is Master Leaf. Peace out.